Here's the thing. Buying your first home is one of the most daunting financial achievements that most people go through, and one of the hardest parts can often be scraping enough money to actually get started. The good news, however, is that there might be more help available than you realized, and that you might be able to get started without a sizable deposit. Today, we're going through 5 things that first home buyers might be able to use to help them buy their first piece of real estate. Let's get this first one out of the way because it's not going to be for everyone. But for the people that can make use of it, it's going to make a massive difference. The first option for people trying to buy a home without a massive deposit up their sleeves is to have someone sign on your mortgage as a guarantor. You see, usually when you're taking out a mortgage to buy a home, the banks will require you to have a deposit saved up equal to at least 20% of the purchase price of the home. For a $500,000 home, for example, this is a $100,000 deposit. If you have less than a 20% deposit saved up, the bank will make you pay lender's mortgage insurance, or LMI, on top of the mortgage. This can be tens of thousands of dollars, so we want to avoid it if we can. This is where a guarantor comes in. A guarantor is someone that has equity in their own home that can be used as collateral for your mortgage, so that the money doesn't have to come out of pocket. By signing as your guarantor, this person is also agreeing that if you are no longer able to pay your mortgage, they will be on the hook for those payments, or else they might lose the home that they put up as security. This is a risky position to be in, and not everyone is going to have someone like this in their lives. But if you are in a position where you can make use of this, you might be able to buy a home without any deposit at all. Now, if you're not someone that has the luxury of generational wealth and very generous parents, then these next 2 options might be more up your alley. If you're buying a brand new home or you're buying land to build your home, you might be eligible for the first homeowners grant. This one is specific to Western Australia, where I live and work, and it's a $10,000 grant that first home buyers can use to help them with the purchase. Unfortunately, it's not available to people buying established homes because it's supposed to incentivize the construction of new dwellings. Next up, we've got stamp duty concessions for first home buyers. Now, in case you didn't already know, when you buy a home, you also have to pay stamp duty and transfer fees, which is a government tax on real estate transactions. The exact costs vary from state to state, but for an average home, this usually adds up to tens of thousands of dollars that you have to pay on top of your deposit and other costs. However, most states offer some sort of discount for first-time buyers. Again, this varies from state to state, but as an example, first home buyers in Western Australia will pay absolutely no stamp duty if they purchase their home for $430,000 or less, and they'll pay a discounted rate up to a purchase price of $530,000. Now, remember earlier when I mentioned the guarantor system, and most people watching this were bummed out that they didn't have rich parents that could do this for them? Well, what if the government could be your rich parents? This next option is called the First Home Guarantee Scheme, and it's for first-time buyers that don't have a big deposit saved up, but also don't want to pay expensive lender's mortgage insurance fees. Essentially, if you buy a home under a certain threshold, which again is different in every state, you only need a 5% deposit. The government will guarantee the other 15% for you, which means you don't need to pay any LMI. There are a limited number of spots available across the country every year, but if you can secure one, it can save you a lot of money and you can get into the market much sooner. So we've got ways of saving on stamp duty, getting $10,000 in our pocket and starting with a smaller deposit, but this last option is going to help you save for that deposit more efficiently. The First Home Super Saver Scheme is a system that allows first home buyers to leverage the tax advantages of their superannuation accounts to save up for their first home. You can make additional contributions to your superannuation retirement fund, which is generally taxed at a much lower rate than your regular income, and then later withdraw up to $50,000 of those contributions to buy your first home. In addition to pulling out the money you put in, you'll also get some interest on top of that. But even without the interest, this scheme is worth it just for the tax breaks alone. However, before you dive into this, you should definitely consult your accountant or your financial advisor first, because there are strict rules around who is able to do this. And there you have it, 5 different strategies and schemes that you can use to buy your first home faster and save money in the process. Now, if you roll together a few of these, the savings can be quite dramatic, and the barrier to entry to get into the real estate market can shrink drastically. For example, if you're living in Perth, Western Australia, you could buy a brand new $400,000 apartment as your first home, and this could make you eligible for a full stamp duty concession. On top of that, if you can secure a spot in the first home guarantee, you only need a 5% deposit, which is just $20,000. Half of that is already covered by the $10,000 first homeowner grant, which means you only need to put in $10,000 of your own money for the deposit. And you can use the First Home Super Saver scheme to save that $10,000 more tax effectively. I don't know about you, but to me, that's starting to sound a hell of a lot easier than saving up $100,000 for a house. If you want to learn more about real estate, finance, and investing, you've found the right channel. My name is Marco, and I'm a buyer's agent and personal finance enthusiast in Perth, Western Australia. Basically, I help people buy homes for a living. Stick around to learn more, and I'll see you in the next one.